Welcome back to Just Drive It. Stephen Holtz. One of my boys. Well, we're trying to get back going again. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get ready to go to the No Name Nationals. Which anybody who knows me knows how hard saying I'm going to go to something further on in the year can tend to be because of my work. I work on a boat offshore, and they like to switch our schedules around to where at first, like this instance right now, I'm going to be off. I'm going to try to make it. But if they switch up our schedules or switch boats, there goes a plan. Best laid plans of mice and men never actually survives the first contact intact. I guess that was Murphy. But anyways, here's what we've got. I've been talking to some of the guys for A-Bodies Only, and some of the guys that I know on some of the other channels about what I want to do, what I want to bring. I have several possibilities, and I've actually eliminated some of the others. I'll show you where we're going to start. Here's where we start. Car number one. Other than that vehicle there, which runs and drives, my first vehicle ever on the road. That's what I'll drive in, still drive it. This was my second real car. I had two other parts cars, don't count. But this is my 67 Fastback. Got a nice little engine in it. Built pretty good. DSS main girdle, stud, windage trays, ARP all through it. DSS forged pistons, J302 aluminum heads. You get the idea. It was built for a car that is now currently messed up badly. So, it's in there with a C4 automatic and highway gears. It will start, it will run. I think I've actually even got a video of it running. My problem is these guys right here. Sorry for the light. That's what we got. It's not a real comfortable ride in the back of something that small for 15 hours. Even though we do it on several days. And it would be difficult to be pulling a teardrop that I intend to build on this trailer. Or I may build some other trailer on that one. Another trailer on that. But I really don't want to pull a teardrop with that car and with 4 people in the car. So that eliminates that one. I could still be talked into doing it, but it would be hard. Cue car number 2. I'm calling this one my penalty box swinger. Why a penalty box swinger? Well, penalty box is because there is a race set up, or penalty box, that's been put together by 318 Will Run, that we actually have run, myself not necessarily because I ran the setup but not the actual race because I never did get on the road. But based on a top dead center car, you go through and you can run a certain time. In this case, we'll see if we can open this sucker up. I know it's in videos somewhere else, but we actually have 360 Magnum. I don't go for the 5.9 stuff. Sorry guys, no liters. So 360 Magnum, 904 automatic. It will start, it will run. It's almost ready to be on the road. Working on the abundant title on this one. However, even though it does happen to have bucket seats in there, or bench seats in there and everything, still kind of cramped for the amount of distance we're going to be going, and don't really feel like pulling a trailer. That being said, this could still be a contender I know I could get a race from Clay at my next project garage, or even Dart Freak 75. Maybe even 318 will run, or many others. But for now, we're going to say that this one, I'll close it in a minute, will possibly be out of the running simply because room. Enter car number 3. My son's 67 Coronet 440 trim. Not 440 engine, people. 440 trim. So in other words, base model trim almost. Next step up will be your 500. Not his car.
Yeah.
This one as well has a 360 Magnum. It does start, it does run. As you can tell, needs a cover for its windshield wipers, that kind of stuff. Still needs some other stuff. But the plan for this one is we want to put the M110 Eaton blower on this sucker. Now I got that from Mucky Madness off of For A Buddies Only. He'd started the project, didn't finish it, but this is what I'm hoping to put it in. We've got a 360. It does have headers. Has a 904 transmission with a lockup converter. It has an 8 3/4 rear end. Highway gears. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 294s. Plenty of room. And it would pull the trailer. What's my problem with this one? There's not many downsides on this one. We could put it together and we could run. My only issue is I would like to set up a penalty box race for the day of, I guess the 2 days of, the No Name Nationals. You would set up your dial in and you would turn in your times based off of the time slips you ran for the day. This one would not be able to compete if it got the M110. So there is my problem on that one. Maybe. Swinging over here, that one has an engine, it's not in it. It has a transmission, does not have clutch, shifter, the rear end isn't right on it, doesn't have a gas tank. No headers. Needs the headers. Headers are expensive for that car. That car actually runs. I need to put it back on the road here next couple days. I finally found a problem with it. Don't really want to mess with the suspension in the back to pull a trailer, but it would be a contender as an intermediate with this one. On to the next one. Option number 4. One I'm seriously leaning towards, as a certain friend of mine is actually a bit of a closet Fairlane / Torino fan. Hint, he likes to run Mopars. But what do we have here? Well, what we actually have here is, if it'll open, leave it like it is. It has a 351 Windsor out of a van with a B303 cam. It has aftermarket Pro comp heads on it. Currently Speedmaster is their brand. They're the cast iron 194 16, actually a good head. Got a knockoff of the Performer RPM intake on it. Has a C6 transmission. Actually starts and runs. Yes, missing a radiator. And has more room than the other cars. This one would be a fun car to run. This would be hot rod number 4. Hot rod number 3, my 84 Fox body, is about to go to the junkyard as it is beyond salvaging at this point. This car has 4-wheel disc brakes, Granada brakes on the front, Expedition brakes on the rear. running an 8-inch rear end. However, it's got nice little wonderful highway gears, which could be changed. This is a contender, but we're not sure yet. And here is option number 5. What we're looking at is my Plymouth Roadrunner. This car was on a short the other day. Story behind this one is I now have the title for it, or I now have the bonded title for it, but I had some parts originally stolen off of it. The hood used to match the car. The brace for the hood latch and all that actually was stolen as well by the same miscreants. This, as you can see, has no engine in it. However, I do have an extra transmission. I do have an extra 360 Magnum. And I have miscellaneous parts for some 383s. Not a full complete engine yet, but we can see. I would like to return this to a 383 car just because I do enjoy my big blocks. But it could be pressed into service with either the 4-speed or the automatic that I've got extra. Now, some of the downsides to this, yeah, cancer in the roof, but I just bought a roof for it today, of all places, and pieces to do this and to replace the cross member that is hanging under the bottom of it where the shocks were messed up. Somebody put air shocks on it and screwed it pretty bad. However, this car also has issues with some rust in the floor pans. I can bring you over here. But the same car that's providing, yeah, you can't see it too well, but the same car that's providing the hood, or the roof, actually it provided the hood too, that actually came off there, is also providing floor pans, because here in Texas you can actually get some cars that don't have rust in the floor pans, of all things. So this would need for me to finish patching the quarters. Doable. I've got a fuel tank in there, check. It is currently not necessarily in there correctly, but there is a 8.8 Ford, yes, sorry, Ford 8.8 rear end in there with 373 gears. This would be a fun one. The only reason I would say possibly no on this one is there again. In order to run the penalty box race, I would need to run a small block. Now, do I have a small block that I can put in here? Yes. So it is a possibility, but sometimes you don't want to do things multiple times. We shall see. Oh, so now that we're here, why don't you guys give me some feedback? I know some of these cars are kind of rough, but the ones that I've chosen have, with the exception of the Swinger, are currently papered in my name. They are possibilities. Some of them, yeah, the engine's not in them, but that's just a formality. That's just a couple hours work and it's in there. Maybe not a totally built engine, but in the grand scheme of things, we're just out here to have fun. Sometimes for the lowest buck that we can possibly do. So, give me your feedback on what you think would be a good car to take, and we shall see where we go. Dart Freak, yeah, you saw the two that you were thinking about. Give me some feedback.